I bet you didn't realize just how rapidly some countries are falling apart. Welcome to our channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that's as shocking as it is heartbreaking: the 10 fastest collapsing countries in the world. Now, before you click away to something more cheerful, like a documentary about the life of puppies, I promise this is crucial. These nations are grappling with some incredibly severe challenges, the kind that threaten to tear apart the very fabric of their societies. We're talking economic disasters, political chaos, and enough humanitarian crises to make even the most hardened hearts break. So, hold on tight, because we're about to embark on an emotional journey through global instability. Number 10, here we come. 10, here we... Our journey begins in Venezuela, a land blessed with the world's largest proven oil reserves, yet cursed with an economic catastrophe that would leave even the most reckless gambler in Vegas speechless. Hyperinflation has spiraled so wildly out of control that cash has become as volatile as a ticking time bomb. Families are desperately trying to secure basic necessities like food and medicine, but the shelves are as barren as broken promises. You might think with all that oil they could simply sell their way out of this nightmare, but, dear viewer, the reality is far more heartbreaking. Venezuela's woes are deeper than the darkest abyss, leaving its people in endless queues for survival. Rampant corruption, government mismanagement of epic proportions, and a political crisis more tangled than a web of deceit have left the nation in ruins. It's a perfect storm of despair, and the Venezuelan people are the ones bearing the brunt of this tragedy. Our next stop is Syria, a nation torn apart by a brutal civil war that has lasted over a decade. Imagine living in a place where the sound of bombs falling is as common as birds singing, where millions have been forced to abandon their homes and everything they know, and where hope seems as distant as a star in the night sky. This is the harsh reality of Syria. But how did it come to this? Picture a ruthless dictator clinging to power with an iron grip, a population desperate for freedom and democracy, and a myriad of foreign powers, each with their own interests, all contributing to a cauldron of geopolitical chaos. Add to this a deadly mix of sectarian violence, a heavy dose of foreign intervention, and the terror of ISIS, and you have a recipe for unimaginable suffering and disaster. Brace yourselves, everyone, because we're diving into the heart-wrenching reality of Yemen, a nation ensnared in a conflict so devastating, so nightmarish, and so tragically overlooked by the world that it's known as the Forgotten War. Picture a place where innocent children are wasting away from hunger, where hospitals lie in ruins, and where clean water is a rare and precious commodity. This is Yemen, my friends, a humanitarian disaster of unimaginable scale. You might be asking yourself, how did it come to this, and why is the world so silent? Well, hold tight, because the story is a tangled web of proxy wars, regional power plays, and an arsenal that would make a Bond villain envious. In the simplest terms, Yemen is the battleground for a fierce geopolitical struggle between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And it's the Yemeni people who are enduring the unbearable consequences. Our next stop is Haiti, an island nation that's been relentlessly battered by a storm of misfortunes. Earthquakes, hurricanes, political turmoil, and a level of poverty so crushing it would bring tears to the eyes of a Dickensian orphan. In Haiti, even the smallest stroke of bad luck can send entire communities spiraling into chaos and despair. Some might be quick to blame Haiti's endless woes on its geography, and it's true. The country sits right in the heart of Hurricane Alley. But that's just scratching the surface. Haiti's struggles are deeply rooted in a painful history of colonialism, exploitation, and political corruption. It's a toxic cocktail that's left this resilient nation vulnerable to natural disasters and heartbreakingly ill-equipped to recover. Our journey now takes us to the enigmatic and isolated nation of North Korea, a land cloaked in mystery, ruled by a dictator whose obsession with nuclear power has cast a dark shadow over its people, and plagued by economic hardships that would make even the most resilient hearts ache. North Korea is a land of stark contrasts, where grandiose propaganda posters promising prosperity adorn buildings that are crumbling to dust, and where citizens are indoctrinated to revere their leader with a fervor that borders on religious fanaticism. Some might argue that North Korea's suffering is self-inflicted, a tragic consequence of its isolationist policies and its relentless focus on military might over the well-being of its people. And there's a painful truth to that, but we must also remember the immense external pressures it has faced, from crippling economic sanctions to the relentless condemnation of the international community. North Korea is a nation ensnared in a vicious cycle of its own making, and tragically, it is the North Korean people who bear the brunt of this relentless suffering. Our next stop is South Sudan, a nation born out of relentless conflict, scarred deeply by violence and gripped by a humanitarian crisis so severe that it would break even the most hardened hearts. South Sudan is a place where hope flickers like a fragile candle in a storm, constantly threatened by the fierce gusts of ethnic violence, political instability, and economic despair. Some might look at South Sudan's plight and say, this is what happens when you carve a nation out of chaos. And there's no denying that South Sudan's birth was a tumultuous one, marred by decades of brutal civil war with Sudan. But to reduce South Sudan's struggles to mere growing pains is to overlook the intricate web of internal conflicts, power struggles, and pervasive corruption that continue to haunt this young nation. Our journey now takes us deep into the very soul of Africa, to the Democratic Republic of Congo, a nation blessed with an abundance of natural treasures, yet cursed by a history of relentless exploitation, heart-wrenching violence, and corruption so deep it would make a Roman emperor blush. The DRC is a land of stark contrasts, where breathtaking natural beauty collides with unimaginable human suffering. Some might look at the DRC and see a nation cursed by its own riches, its vast mineral wealth a magnet for greed and conflict. And there's no denying that the DRC's resources have fueled countless conflicts, both internal and external. But to reduce the DRC's problems to mere resource wars is to ignore the complex interplay of historical wounds, political instability, and regional power dynamics that have conspired to keep the DRC mired in a seemingly endless cycle of chaos. Our next stop takes us to Myanmar, a nation engulfed in a humanitarian crisis so dire, so shocking, and so utterly heartbreaking that it cries out for the world's attention. Picture a place where an entire population is being systematically persecuted, driven from their homes, and subjected to unimaginable horrors. This is the harrowing reality for the Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar, and it's a profound stain on the conscience of humanity. Some might try to downplay the Rohingya crisis, dismissing it as an internal matter or a complex ethnic conflict. But let's be clear, this is ethnic cleansing, plain and simple. The Myanmar government, driven by a Buddhist nationalist agenda, is waging a campaign of terror against an entire population, and the world cannot stand idly by. Our journey now takes us to Afghanistan, a nation that has endured unimaginable hardship and heartache. This landlocked country, where the haunting echoes of war still reverberate through its majestic valleys and rugged mountains. Afghanistan is a place where the dream of peace remains just out of reach, where the deep scars of conflict are etched into the very soul of the nation, and where the future is cloaked in uncertainty. Some might say that Afghanistan is fated to be engulfed in chaos, that its tumultuous history is an unbreakable chain. But to dismiss Afghanistan as a lost cause is to overlook the incredible resilience of its people, their unwavering hope for a brighter tomorrow, and the relentless efforts of those who strive to rebuild their shattered homeland. Our final stop takes us to Lebanon, a nation once hailed as the Paris of the Middle East, now teetering on the brink of collapse, its economy in shambles, its political system paralyzed, and its people struggling to cope with a cascade of crises. Lebanon is a stark reminder that even the most vibrant of societies can be brought to their knees by a toxic mix of corruption, mismanagement, and external pressures. Now, some might look at Lebanon's plight and see a cautionary tale about the fragility of peace, a reminder that even in a region riven by conflict, no nation is immune to the winds of change. But to reduce Lebanon's story to a simple cautionary tale is to ignore the complexities of its political system, its delicate sectarian balance, and the role of external actors in shaping its fate. So, there you have it, folks, a whirlwind tour of global instability. Now I know what you're feeling. That was heartbreaking. Is there any hope for these countries? And you know what? You're right to wonder. Because while the challenges facing these nations are immense, It's crucial to remember that they are not insurmountable. Behind the grim statistics and the devastating images are real people, individuals with hopes, dreams, and the incredible resilience to keep fighting for a brighter future. The path to recovery will be long and arduous, fraught with obstacles and setbacks. But by shining a light on these crises, by understanding the complex factors at play, and by demanding accountability from those in power, we can help create a more just and equitable world for all. Thank you for watching. If you found this video moving, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt content like this. Stay informed and stay hopeful. Agap 2S. As we close this chapter on the heart-wrenching realities facing these nations, it's crucial to pivot to a narrative of hope and potential recovery. Amidst the chaos and despair, there lies a blueprint for rebuilding, a roadmap that could lead these countries out of their current turmoil and towards a brighter, more hopeful future. International aid organizations, NGOs, and even grassroots movements within these nations are tirelessly working to provide relief and support, igniting sparks of hope in the darkest of times. From humanitarian aid to infrastructure rebuilding, these efforts are the lifelines that can help stabilize and rejuvenate these fractured societies, offering a glimmer of light in the shadows. Economic recovery plans are also essential, breathing life back into communities and restoring livelihoods. For instance, investing in sustainable agriculture and renewable energy can create jobs and reduce dependence on volatile global markets, paving the way for a resilient future. Education and healthcare reforms are equally critical, ensuring that the next generation is equipped to lead their countries into an era of prosperity and stability, filled with dreams and possibilities. Moreover, the international community has a pivotal role to play, standing in solidarity with these nations. Diplomatic efforts, fair trade agreements, and targeted sanctions can pressure corrupt regimes while supporting the people, fostering a sense of global unity and justice. Collaborative efforts can help foster peace, rebuild economies, and restore dignity to those affected, turning pain into progress. So, while the road ahead is undeniably tough, it's not without hope. The dawn of a new day is always on the horizon. The resilience of the human spirit, combined with strategic, empathetic intervention, can turn the tide, transforming despair into determination. Let's continue to stay informed, advocate for meaningful change, and support initiatives that aim to rebuild from the rubble. Thank you for watching. If you found this video insightful, please like and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to check out our other videos for more content like this. Stay hopeful and stay engaged.